Hello students, my name is Neha Bendre, Assistant Professor in Zoology at Rare Shikshan Sanstha's RBNB College, Srirampur. Students, in the previous lectures, we have studied the cellular organelles, whatever the bodies are present in the cell. So we have studied about the organelles, different kind of organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, maybe it's mitochondria, Golgi complex, nucleus, and the studies about the structures. Okay, but today we are going to learn about, or we are going to know about a very interesting topic that is called as the cell cycle. So today I am going to give a brief introduction about the cell cycle. So students, you might be aware of the life cycle, okay, life cycle of us, that is human being, or a life cycle of our favorite insect, that is the butterfly. Okay, so in that life cycle is also called as the Jivan Chakra. So you know the organism that has born grows up till adult, and then the Jivan Chakra goes on. It has to die, then it has to again take a birth, again carry on with that development process. So that is the Jivan Chakra, or we can call it as the life cycle. So here also we are going to learn about a different kind of Jivan Chakra of the cell. But before that, just I was telling about the life cycle of any human or a butterfly. So in that, before starting the cell cycle, I would like to tell about this life cycle. That in the life cycle of a butterfly, before it grows into a beautiful adult, it has to pass through a process. So it takes birth as an egg, it grows into larva, then pupa, and then it grows into a glorious butterfly. So before giving the very glorious appearance to that butterfly, the adult butterfly, it has to pass through this process, and that is the life cycle of butterfly. In the same way, we the humans also have the life cycle, that is we take birth as a baby, and before the formation of baby, there is a zygote formation, that we all are developed from a single cell, that is called as a zygote. Thus, we are developed from the zygote, then it turns into a baby, then after the process continues, we grow up till the teenage, then adult, and then the adults can be male, female, then together they come again and they form a zygote, and the process continues, the development goes on. So this is the life, and this is the continuation of life through the cycle. So the process in which there is development of this organism from egg to adult, here also from the baby till adult. So what is this process, okay, of getting the formation of from the egg till adult is called as, yeah, it's a life cycle. But to carry out this process of life cycle, there is one more Jivan Chakra which is helping to carry out this life cycle, which is nothing but the cell cycle. Okay, so it's a very interesting phenomena that how our life goes on with the help of this life cycle. So the cell cycle is nothing but the life history of a cell. So now we have to just concentrate on the process before the egg formation. Okay, so in this, as I have said you earlier, that we are formed from a single cell. Then the question arises that how the single cell transforms into a larger organism. Okay, so what is the question? How is the single cell is transformed into larger organism? Okay, so this is the question. So as I am going to tell you answer about this question, that this transformation occurs due to the cell cycle, which is nothing but the life history of a cell. So in this life history of a cell, there are some steps, that is from the cell growth till the multiplication of cell. In the beginning, there is growth of cell. As the cell has taken birth, it has to grow. Then it has, after attaining its a particular size, cell growth, it has to divide itself. Until and unless it doesn't divide, it will not proceed its developmental process. So after attaining the cellular growth, it has to move further by multiplicating itself. So in this multiplication, from the process of growth till multiplication of cell, the developmental process proceeds with the help of the cell cycle. Okay, so what is this cell cycle? The cell cycle is nothing but the series of events. The series of events occurring in the lifetime or in the lifespan from its formation of cell, that is from cell formation till division of cells into daughter cells. Okay, means from a single cell, okay, from the cell formation, then there is division of cells, and these cells are again divided into daughter cells, and so forth. The process continues for to carry out the development process of the cell, and which carries out the development process of the life cycle. So it's a very interesting phenomenon of cell cycle, where now further we are going to study about what exactly are the steps, what exactly are the events taking place in the cell cycle. Okay, so after knowing the actual process of the cell cycle, that these are the events, okay, that takes place during the life of the cell, from formation of cell up till the division of cells into daughter cells. So I am going to tell you now about that what are the events taking place in the cell cycle. So cell cycle, as the name suggests, cell, we know it's a single cell which is the basic and structural unit of life, and the cycle means nothing but something that is coming again and again. The process is coming again and again. What are these processes? These are nothing but the series of steps involved in the development process of the cell. So series of steps. Which are those steps? That is the cellular growth, okay, then duplication of genetic material, and then the cell division. So these are the steps which are coming again and again. These are proceeding again and again, okay, and so this process is called as the cell cycle. So important steps: the cell growth. As the cell, the body is formed from a single cell. After developing into formation of single cell, it has to grow. After growing, it has to multiply with the help of duplication of genetic material in each cell. Then it has to divide the cell. Okay, after attaining a proper growth of the cell, it has to divide. Unless and until it doesn't divide, it won't pass the genetic material from one cell to another, and the cell or the organism cannot progress in its development. Okay, so these three important steps: cellular growth, duplication of genetic material, and cell division. Okay, after cell division, again there is the same process: cell growth, duplication, and cell division. Okay, so in this you can see this is a single cell which is divided into two, and then the single cell is again divided into two identical cells or four cells, okay, each carrying a chromosome in it. So cell passes through various steps to grow, to copy DNA, and split into 2 or 4 new cells. There might be 2 or 4 new cells. Okay, so there may be formation of 2 identical cells in the process called as mitosis. These are the steps of cell division, and when 4 new cells are formed, that is formed through the process of meiosis. Okay, so what is actually the cell division? So cell division is nothing but the process of single parent cell splitting into 2 identical, okay, as I've said, which occurs in the process of mitosis, or 4 cells each with half chromosome, each with half chromosome in its cell, and that is coming under the process of meiosis. Okay, so does the cell divide at the same time in our body? Does the cell divide at the same time duration? Think about it. So my answer is no. Each and every cell has its own fate, it has its own function, okay, it has its own work. So as per the work, as per the requirement in the body, the cell has to divide it. Okay, so for example, the skin cells, a type of cell called as the skin cell, which is present on our skin. So if our skin gets injured, that is happening all the time, most of the time our skin cells get, or the skin get injured, okay, that time what happens when the skin layer gets injured means the tissues are damaged. And if you are able to see that, if you are observed, the skin cells are repaired after some days, after some time of span, the skin cells are repaired again with the same type of cells. It's not like that after damage of the tissue, some different kind of cells are appeared over there. No. So if you have observed, the same type of skin is, or the skin cells are regained with the same structure as if there was no injury at that time. So the skin cells have high turnover rate of cell division. When we get injured, the turnover rate, the skin cells, they start dividing themselves to regain that place, to regain or to fill up that place again. Okay, so here the cell divides at a constant rate till that tissue is repaired, and due to the constant wear and tear. Wear and tear means the injury to the cell. So that is called as constant wear of tear, where the new cells are compensated by the cells which are lost due to injury, okay, from the adult tissue. So why the skin cells has a high turnover rate? Due to the constant wear and tear of the skin cells, as it is the first layer of the cell, and in this the new cell compensates with the loss of cells in adult tissues. So this was the example of skin cells where there is high cell division to regain that skin cover. But there are nerve cells, okay, which once form, nerve cells which once formed can't divide. So there is no division of cells in the nerve cells, okay. So as it has taken place, as the cell, there is cell formation. I have told you previously that there will be division into daughter cells, but as the cell grows, nerve cells attains its adult stage, it cannot divide. Okay, so this is the difference that about the time duration I was asking, that does all the cells have the same time duration. So the skin cells divide at a constant rate while the nerve cell cannot divide once it has formed. So now why it happens, how the cell divides, is there any kind of steps included in this cell cycle? Okay, as I have told you, there is cell growth, there is duplication of cell, there is cell division. So these steps are given some kind of names. Okay, so there are different phases of cell cycle, stages, we can call it as phases or stages of cell cycle. So these phases of cell cycle are divided into two steps, that is the interphase and other one is the M phase. So interphase, this M phase is called as, what do you mean by M phase? It may be mitotic or meiotic phase, mitotic or meiotic phase, and so the M, this is called as the M phase. Generally it is called as the mitotic phase. Interphase, it's a preparatory phase. It's a preparatory phase, and this M phase is called as the dividing phase. Okay, this is called as the dividing phase, where actually the splitting of cells takes place. Okay, in this preparatory phase, what is important that in this preparatory phase, why it is called as preparatory? Because it prepares the cells. It makes all the supply of nutrients, all the metabolic activities ready to make the cell divide in the M phase. So in this preparatory phase, there is a process of cell growth. Okay, all the nutrients, all the metabolic activity are high. Metabolic active. Okay, and in this phase, the chromosome are having thread-like structure. Chromosomes are long threads. Okay, chromosomes are long threads. So in this preparatory phase, the cell gains as much as nutrients, as much as enzymes. It prepares itself. Okay, it gets all the nutrients to grow into or it divide the cell into the daughter cells. So this interphase is preparing the cell to get to move into the M phase. So M phase is called as dividing phase, where actually there is splitting of cells. So further, this, after knowing that what are the phases which are divided into interphase and M phase, this interphase and M phase are again divided into different steps. But you have to wait for the next video, which I will explain you about the different kind of events taking places in the two phases. Okay, so thank you for watching.